It's podcadzo.
No, I don't want to update my password. I'm doing all of this for no reason. We don't even know if we're going to need to use this computer. We don't ever need to use it.
It's good to have on hand in case you have any crazy Instagram videos to show me. Oh, do you? Hell yeah.
Yes, I do,
Hell
sir.
yeah, dude. We're off to a strong start already.
I got to
This
plug
pod's
it into the
rolling.
TV
We had no
now.
idea what we were going to talk about, but we're already off to the races. Well, you're loading that up. Oh, it's already up. But I don't need to.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we had a good food talk thing going on before we actually started recording.
We did?
Yeah, we were talking food.
About calories?
About gas station candy
Gas
bars.
station candy bars?
And calories related to that.
Yeah.
I had said that it's annoying that for the kind of second tier chocolate bars, not the staple gas station candy bars, they don't sell the normal size ones, just the king size. So I had to buy a king size Payday, and that's 450 calories of Payday. And
Horrible.
It's hard not to eat the whole thing
That's
if you're
just
buying a king
horrible.
size. It's a ton of Payday. Peanuts really packing the calories though.
Peanuts really
packing. I'm gonna have to do a lot with the plosives.
I like, king size, but my eyes are always bigger than my stomach. My stomach's pretty big.
And
but
you're a bit of a king yourself. You give off a
Oh.
royal vibe.
is that true now?
I see myself as more of a lowly peasant. I see a king size chocolate bar, and I say I could never even imagine such luxury.
I also did just burp directly into the microphone. So.
That's very king move. Or like I just watched Lord of the Rings again.
Spoiler alert for you
Uh-huh.
and you at the same time. I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
Oh my god, dude. How has this never come up on the podcast? That is insane. How have you never seen Lord of the Rings?
I tried watching it one time with some friends in high school that were obsessed with it, and I just was roasting it so hard that they got mad and left.
So you had a contrarian approach to it. You wanted to
I had a
make fun of your
contrarian
dork-
approach.
Yeah,
to
what am I
everything.
thinking? Why would you go in with a earnest attitude for Lord of the Rings?
I'm better than everyone.
Yeah.
Especially people that like things. Liking things is pretty lame, guys.
This historic feat of cinema is actually pretty lame.
Isn't
if
there
you
some
wanted
weird
to, you
shit?
could.
Is that J.R.R. Tolkien?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's weird shit
Tolkien.
with them, right?
What do you
they.
mean? With
Isn't
Tolkien?
she like
No. Tolkien's the man. Are you thinking of Rowling? J.K. Rowling?
Oh, yeah,
That's
sorry.
Harry Potter, brother.
okay?
Man, that's a cardinal sin right there. The nerds of the internet are
They're
going
all
to roast
exactly
you.
the same, brother.
Julia's really into Harry Potter. I kind of like Harry Potter, but I take a contrarian vibe to it as well, mostly just because Julia's so into it. I've always been a huge Lord of the Rings head though, and Julia's said she's like, oh yeah, I've seen Lord of the Rings, and I always ask her questions, and she doesn't fucking know anything about Lord of the Rings. So last week when we had the bad weather, I was like, it's time to trilogy. And we sat down and watched. We got 2 Lord of the Rings in one day, and then the third one the next day, and it was amazing. But
That's
anyways,
a lot of movie to watch in that short.
yeah,
of a
we
time
watched
period.
the extended editions too. So like the Return of the King extended edition is 4 hours,
Holy shit!
but in that movie, the steward of Gondor is a nasty little king himself, and he is always like feasting.
A nasty little.
A nasty little king. And I was somehow going to relate you to the steward of Gondor, that you should be like eating grapes on the pot all the time and letting the juices run down
I've
your
got
cheeks.
grapes, bro.
Yeah. I think it was a cherry actually. He was eating like a
Definitely
succulent
not-
cherry
Yeah, not grapes.
running down his
Well,
face.
maybe grapes though, because of wine,
wine. Yeah. And that's like the classic, like
a chalice, and some
grape
grapes.
thing, like people would be fanning with like olive leaves and
Yeah.
feeding them grapes. And
Maybe they were olives.
oh shit! It's like, where'd you get this olive leaf in a vineyard? But maybe it was an olive yard. What did you call an olive farm? Just an olive farm?
It's It doesn't sound great
Yeah.
coming out of the mouth.
Pause. Would
I
you?
need to turn these middle lights on. That's why it's so weird in here. Is because the middle lights aren't on.
Should we turn them on now? Nah.
Nah.
How do you turn? Because the switch
There's
is
a
on.
switch.
Oh. I thought that everything was on that switch. Is everything not on that switch?
The switch upstairs, or this switch,
The switch
right
in
here.
the staircase.
That switch is just these lights.
Oh, I thought it was power as well.
Yeah.
for
If
everything
anyone
else.
ever breaks into my house, don't go in the basement. We'll just leave it at that.
Don't. Seriously.
You really don't
Seriously,
want to.
don't.
You really,
You won't even
really,
be able to figure out the lighting scheme.
There is, like those laser mazes?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one of those. That's the only warning that you get.
You know how there's like an internet thing a while ago of people saying like, I thought there'd be a lot more quicksand pits when I grew up. Like from watching movies, I thought quicksand would be more of a problem in my life. For me, it was laser fields.
Yeah,
I thought I'd be encountering laser fields often.
They're in like every
I know.
single action movie of all time.
Yeah.
They're also in like, this is going to reveal a lot about me. They're in like half of the Mr. Beast videos that have come out lately.
Yeah. Julian has not seen Lord of the Rings, but has seen most Mr. Beast content.
Not most. Most of his recent content, sure.
Yeah. You should dedicate some of that time to Lord of the Rings, brother.
No, I like having sex with women, so
Yeah, so you watch Mr. Beast.
it hasn't failed me so far.
I'm what you are to Lord of the Rings, I am to Mr. Beast. I've never even clicked on a Mr. Beast video. I don't even know what his voice sounds like. I really haven't.
That's great.
Which is crazy.
I hated Mr. Beast for the longest time up until the beginning of this year. And then I accidentally fell asleep to a Mr. Beast video and therefore binged
Sounds
like
about
8
right.
hours of Mr. Beast videos.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
then
the algorithm, was
the
like,
algorithm
this guy
kind of
loves it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then a video came up that I actually was interested in. I forget now what the video was. It was something, I think it was like this one where he bought every car at a car dealership and then sold all the cars for $1. I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I watched it and I was like, this isn't horrible. And his videos get more grandiose as time goes on. So right now they're like insane. Like every video he's put out lately has been like, this dude had to do 5 challenges, like 5 really, really hard challenges in 10 minutes to win $250,000. It's like, that's actually really life-changing. This video that he posted a couple weeks ago was like...
Why can't you just give the guy $250,000 though?
Because that's not good
generate
content.
for it.
That's not content.
I saw it was actually about a Mr. Beast video. He made a video where he like cured blindness in like a village, like
That's Beast Philanthropy.
Beast Philanthropy.
Yes.
Different channel.
He's a philanthropy channel.
Okay. Good for him.
Yep. The
But
main
there was,
channel
like-
is like, I blew this up. And then the philanthropy channel is like, I built 100 schools in Africa. And it's like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
He really do be doing it.
The article about it though, I don't even know if it was it was just someone's take on it. And it wasn't a critique against Mr. Beast himself. Necessarily wasn't being like, this guy sucks. But it was like a critique against American culture and capitalism being like the only way now to actually do anything philanthropic or like cure blindness, for example, is if you can make a YouTube video out of it. Like that's what capitalism is on. Which you could argue maybe isn't a bad thing.
Yeah,
like,
why not be
we are
entertained?
incentivized through, and it's like even if you are driven by the wrong motives to do the right thing, you're still doing the right thing at the end of the day.
I don't even... Well, so the thing with Mr. Beast... I'm sure this is probably not great content, but I'll defend Mr. Beast.
Okay. I'm stoked for any podcast that starts with the thing about Mr. Beast. So I think this is good content.
We're going to
carry
have
on, bro.
first takes here. No one has thought these thoughts that I'm about to say out loud before.
Yeah.
I feel like watching some of his videos, it actually is pretty, like, it does come from a place of, like, I want to do this just because, rather than, like, I want to do this for attention. Like, obviously, when you have a YouTube channel and you're we have a YouTube channel, so I'm not, like, being an asshole for saying this. Like, anyone who has a YouTube channel that
And we
posts
haven't
content
done anything philanthropic.
is, like, you know, doing it on some level so other people can see it. So that's always going to be there. But, like, I mean, shit, you could make someone do a really hard challenge for like $5,000. I feel like every time he gives money away, it's like no less than $250,000, and it's just like, well, if he's doing it that continuously, then it really is like, you know, he can't have that much extra income left over.
Yeah.
He really is just paying it all forward in his own way. And then he has like, you know, chocolate bars that he hawks like a motherfucker. And
The chocolate bar thing was funny.
yeah.
He was getting roasted online for chocolate bar stuff. But yeah, I remember when you got into Mr. Beast and you told me about his videos. I've been meaning to watch some since then.
I don't really
I
know
just haven't.
where to start with him.
I'm just gonna go. If you log in or go to YouTube without having an account, just the standard homepage, you know, without being logged in, it's nothing but Mr. Beast thumbnails everywhere on the homepage.
Best classic rock song, 70s, 80s, 90s. And then 5 hours of relaxing psychedelic space rock. And then Dune Part 2, the movie. So I think about 33% of that is
Another beloved sci-fi fantasy
that I know nothing
saga
about.
that you have not seen.
Yeah.
Dune.
Yep.
Anyways.
Sci-fi is really not my thing.
Yeah.
I like historical nonfiction. I like historical fiction too.
Oh, dude, speaking of that, I saw fucking Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare over the weekend. Have you heard of that movie?
No.
New Guy Ritchie movie. It's
Oh,
about...
fuck. I love Guy Ritchie.
I love Guy Ritchie too. It's like my favorite director.
That's a long ass name.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. So
Thank God that I did not have to type that.
it's pretty interesting. A bunch of Winston Churchill's classified World War II files were recently declassified, and this was a story that came out of the declassified files. It was basically a secret mission that was not approved by the British government or parliament to go forward, but they did it anyways. And it's these guys who snuck into a supply depot essentially off the coast of Spain, I believe it was, where like the whole Nazi U-boat operation was. So where they were restocking and servicing U-boats. And yeah, it's about the guys who, you know, tried to fuck that shit up.
That's
but
cool.
really good movie.
It's still in theaters?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just came out. You should go see it.
I've been wanting to go to the theater for a minute. The theater.
You should see Dune 2 and Ministry of Ungentlemanly
The
Warfare
same day,
double
back to
feature.
back.
Double feature.
I feel like I need to see the first Dune before I see the second Dune.
Watch that at home.
Nope.
Dude, you're going to love Dune.
Am
They're
I actually?
so good, yeah. You don't need to be a sci-fi.
Okay,
nerd
but
to-
like, this is a very boiled down version of what I've heard, but what I've heard is that it's kind of Mad Maxy.
No,
Cool.
it's not Mad Maxy.
Not even like production wise.
no.
The production style of Mad Max drove me fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, it's so much more nuanced. And I liked Mad Max, but it's a lot more understated and subdued. And yeah, it's a great piece. And yeah, it's nothing like Mad Max. The only similarity is they're in the
It's
desert.
in the desert.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes me feel better. Maybe I'll watch it.
I think you should.
Maybe I will.
Julia doesn't like sci-fi necessarily either. And we saw both the Dunes in theaters, and when we saw the first Dune, she was like, that was the best movie I've ever seen. She had never enjoyed a theater experience more than seeing Dune
Whoa.
in cinema.
That's pretty crazy. It's pretty high
It was
praise.
maybe my most memorable movie experience too,
Holy shit.
other than Avatar when I was
Well,
like
I'm never
9,
going to have an experience
11.
like that because it's not in the theaters anymore.
Is Dune? I think Dune 2 is still showing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably the cheap show.
The $2.
The Cinema Saver
Do we still
6.
have
I think we
that?
still have the Cinema Saver 6.
I haven't been there in
I
a long
loved
time.
the cheap show. My
Dude.
mom would always wait till it went to the cheap show and we'd go and see movies there.
They used to do like throwback like matinees there where they'd
Mhm.
play old movies on the
Yeah,
big
I remember
screen.
that.
I saw Fight Club there. I saw Pulp Fiction there.
Oh, that's dope.
I saw Reservoir Dogs there.
Wait. Is this an episode of I Love Films?
It has to be.
I wish I
Please
remember
don't
that
sue us.
6 minutes earlier. Really, at the start of the episode.
At the start, yeah.
Maybe this is our movie episode.
This is a very film heavy episode.
We'll bring it back to music somehow, folks.
You know what's in films? Music.
Dialogue. Oh, music. But speaking of Pulp Fiction and Tarantino, the other movie marathon Julie and I just did was Kill Bill.
Nice. That's a that's an intense
They
marathon
are
to do.
so good. Those movies.
They're very at the end of watching them all in a series. It's like I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, violence doesn't super affect me in movies, but after that, you're a little bit like, oh, I need to take a shower or something.
Dude, in Tarantino film, like in the Kill Bill series, the amount of animated violence is fucking insane.
I love those anime sequences.
Yeah.
Or just the one anime sequence, rather. It's just like fountains of blood out of everyone
Spewing.
whenever they stab them.
Yeah, blood in those films, blood is spewing. There's never a moment when it's not like high pressure. Just
it's so that'd
That's
be
how
kind
I
of
feel
cool if that's how
about,
the human body worked.
Reservoir Dogs. Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh yeah, dude.
So great.
That.
And me and Kels watched like the director's cut of Hateful Eight like last year, the one that's like almost 4 hours long. Maybe it is 4 hours long. Very long movie. That might be one of the best film experiences I've ever had.
Oh, really?
The extended edition is so fucking crazy. Like, it's a very slow burn, obviously, like very, very slow burn, but it's so suspenseful the whole time that it's like, it's unlike anything I've ever seen.
I gotta say, Hateful Eight was always lower down in my Tarantino movie rankings.
Same,
Yeah.
honestly. I don't put it above any of his like classic films really, but I do think it's in its own regard like just a fucking crazy movie.
Yeah. No, I went back and rewatched it. I think I even the extended director's cut. I think I watched like half of that at a buddy's house one time and we didn't get through it. But going back and watching it, I liked it more. It is very much like a play, like it's theatrical and old school play style. One room.
Yeah, talking about like the ick that you feel after like the Kill Bill films. Like, I definitely get that ick like a quarter of the way through. Like, I think like less than an hour. No, probably a little over into an hour in the movie. Like, Sam Jackson is talking about when he made that dude suck his dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
like
it's his
this
son.
movie
it's
just
like that old
started.
guy's son, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, and that one, because the other Tarantino movies, although they're very violent, they're glamorous too. But that one's like one room,
Dark,
Old West,
dingy,
people in weird clothes,
Yeah.
don't look great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's kind of a rough
And then
watch.
everybody dies.
Everyone dies.
I think it's
Spoiler
super
alert.
cool how different it is from the rest of them. Even like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is like the complete opposite.
I was gonna say, other than Dune, that's maybe one of my favorite theater experiences.
I didn't see that one in the theater, sadly.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
watching it at home, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's up in my easily top 15, maybe even top 10 films of all time.
The ending scene is the best ending scene of a movie ever.
And being in the theater, that's what made it the best, is people like cheering and laughing. It's just so funny for an entire theater to be like cracking up when someone's getting their head bashed against a mantle above a fireplace. It was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
I guess, well, shit. I did see Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
Which is it was a similar response where like,
Revisionist
Nazis
history,
are like burning and everyone in the theater's just like, yeah.
Yeah, so much fun.
And now if they played that movie in the theaters, it'd probably be a split crowd. Some people would be like, boo.
They'd be like, these guys were just...
They had some good ideas.
Yeah, a lot of these German soldiers were just young men. Like,
They're just being told
Which
what
is
to do.
true.
They're just following orders.
that
That is not a good excuse to kill people. If you
I was
think...
just following orders.
Yeah. If you think you can...
That's gotten us
explain
into a
that
lot
to
of
the good man
sticky
upstairs.
situations.
Yeah.
There was that thing a little bit though with Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Not to spoil anything, but a lot of Nazis die in it, and
That's cool.
World War II. I think about World War II so much, like anybody does.
Yeah.
Especially men love war history. They love. World War
I've
II.
never been a huge war history guy, but I am. I mean, World War II is fascinating.
Well, there's like a theory, and I think anyone could arrive at this conclusion, but that people are so nostalgic, maybe it's the wrong word, but think about World War II so much and so prevalent still today because that's really the last time in recent history where things were clear cut and not so confused, and there was a very clear bad guy, with an evil empire, and then it doesn't get any better than Nazis for being like the bad guy. You know,
Yeah.
they look evil,
were
they have an
super
evil
good at it.
agenda, they wear the right clothes, and they march, and
Yeah.
they're like, you know, literally what like Star Wars clone troopers were based off of, or stormtroopers. But yeah, and it's like the last time America was really the good guy in a war, where it was just cut and dry, like, nope, America's
And where
doing
we
the
were
right
at
thing
the
here.
forefront of the messaging really behind like our side of the war. Like people rallied behind the United States, and the United States like delivered like the global message essentially.
Yeah, like the only opposing view anyone could have had is like, oh, we shouldn't be involving ourselves in international activities. It wasn't like we are bad people for getting involved in this. Like any war after that, Cold War, Vietnam, obviously, all the way up to today, every single war, there's been a very strongly opposing side for good reason, because they've been bad wars. Anyways, the point I was on was in Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, a lot of Nazis die. And there is that thing of like, if you actually put yourself in that situation, like thinking about it, it's like, okay, that is kind of like all these dudes were just like guys who were drafted into the army probably. Like, it is pretty sad that, you know, it's hard to cheer for just like casualties in any war.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think possibly what has been detrimental in the aftermath of World War II is the fact that history books pretty globally have tried to make it seem like, you know, the Germans and the Nazis specifically were like a unified front of evil. Like history has been retold in that every single person that was a Nazi was like a bloodthirsty fucking killer. Like, it's in the movies, it's in the history books. We've like kind of created that narrative because, I mean, I'm sure to a certain extent that was like the takeaway from a lot of people that actually fought in the war was like, these people are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But you can never universalize a group of people like that, and you also have to realize it was an authoritarian government under Hitler. Like, I mean, before Hitler too, it was an authoritarian government like for a while.
Yeah.
And
Von Bismarck and all those dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being told what to do by like the head of your state is not really something you can just ignore and be like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah.
A lot of people did flee as well.
Oh, for
like
sure. Yeah,
before war broke out,
Mhm.
and before Germany even started reclaiming territory, or not even, you know, reclaiming in their eyes. You know, I think people were like, fuck this, I'm out, and a lot of people did flee. And that's why there's so many goddamn Germans fucking everywhere. There's a shitload of Germans in America. There's a shitload of Germans in Central America. There's a shitload of Germans in like Iceland and Norway and like all those places. There's Germans everywhere. I'm fucking German.
Are you German?
Partially.
Partially.
My mom's side is German.
Julia is very German.
Really?
Her grandfather was German, moved to Brazil, and I won't dox my fiance and tell her last name, but her last name is very famous in Austria. There's a famous admiral. They actually have a sculpture of him in the Vienna
I've never
town
made that
center.
connection.
Here's a music connection. What we're talking about. Do you like Al Stewart?
I don't know who that is.
He's like a singer-songwriter, a real troubadour type. His big album is The Year of the Cat. Extremely talented.
You could cut glass with that nose.
You could indeed. Great voice, great songwriter. But you see right there that song "Roads to Moscow" that came on a rotation I was listening to a little bit ago, and it's a beautiful, haunting song. It's so well done, and
It's
just,
8 minutes long.
Yeah. I'll listen to a second about it.
Ooh,
But
scary.
He's telling the story of German soldiers marching into Russia. Because that was like, dude, Russia, they don't get enough credit for how much they won World War II for everyone.
Yeah.
And they were bad boys too. Russians were. It was based, we allied with them because they were
It was a
natural
territory
enemies of
war.
Yeah. They were enemies of Germany we had no choice but to ally with them. Kind
Yeah.
of lesser two evils. But yeah, they got like the worst of the German attacks and like the shit they went through. But anyways, the Germans had to march into Russia in the winter. They weren't going to do that, but like Hitler had like accelerated war plans. Was like, we just got to send the boys into Russia, and it was like absolute hell. Like that was maybe
German
the
soldiers
worst.
were like falling over.
Yeah, there
dying
was
of
hunger.
frostbite.
Hunger, starvation, dying of the colds, and the Russians, like anything on the western front of Russia, they literally just picked up and moved further east so that Germans didn't encounter anything for like hundreds of miles marching into Russia. And but then every once in a while they just come out from the snow and like kill thousands of Germans and like disappear again. And so yeah, those boys did not have
That's like
a
the
great
one
time.
thing that the Russians are super good at is like, you trying to take our territory, we will fuck you up.
Yeah.
No,
it's gotten
so
many. That's how that was Napoleon's downfall too. He tried to go into Russia. No one can conquer Russia.
Yep.
But this Al Stewart song "Roads to Moscow" is about like the Germans' experience going into Moscow.
Interesting.
It's very haunting. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think ideologically speaking, you know, we've never loved Russia, but things really didn't heat up ideologically too terribly much until like, 10 years before the Cold War.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was immediately after World War II.
Yeah.
There was even like generals, like I think MacArthur was saying like, we can't send anyone home from Europe. Like we have to go right into Russia and fight the Russians now. But that didn't happen, obviously, and just the Cold War started. But probably a good thing that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I try to like. There's so much fear and uncertainty about our future right now for good reason, probably.
But people love to say we're about to go into World War
Dude,
III. We're
been
nowhere close.
I totally agree with you. I'm on such a positivity tip lately. I'm really trying to remain positive. And if you look like from the dawn of time, people have said, "Oh, these are the end times."
Yeah.
That's just how we're programmed as humans for some reason.
But people don't realize that like even before World War I, the global climate shifted. And we're not at a point where like the global climate is shifting because of any of the many wars that are happening right now.
Yeah.
Like the US isn't about to deploy like hundreds of thousands of people to Israel or Palestine or there's wars everywhere. Russia, Ukraine, there's like the Armenia war that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that so much of the population that's still here today were around in the Cold War and lived through that, and that we still don't have the context to be like, guys, like we got through the Cold War, right? And that was truly like scary. Like that was an actual like, nuclear arms chicken fight.
I mean, we did like nuclear fallout safety drills in school.
Yeah, like get under your desk
because of Cold War era fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, I think we're doing good. I think AI, all this AI racket is total fucking bullshit.
I'm a little worried about AI.
AI is not going to replace shit. It's going to replace some jobs, but it's not going to take over our lives. AI kind of sucks. Like it's useful for a lot of things, but like any like practical AI tool, we're years from that being useful.
All right. I'll take your word for that. You're the one in the text universe.
I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but that's what I try to tell myself at least.
Yeah. The one thing I'm nervous about with AI is that it's just going to step in and be used as an alternate way faster than we're anticipating, because you have a lot of like tech CEOs and I guess just like people representing AI in general, all kind of saying like, it's not going to replace humans. It's just here to assist humans. But then those people all say separately that like, this is designed to do simple tasks so that humans don't have to.
No, I mean, it's super rough when you think about it that way. And these CEOs, the messaging they have behind it is terrifying. But these CEOs are total fucking jack-offs, dude. They're dipshits. They have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. None of this is going to happen. Yet, like, even as we speak, jobs are being replaced by AI. Yes, for sure. But there's always something replacing jobs.
Yeah.
People are going to pivot. If the worst really does happen and the entire workforce is out a job because AI is replacing us, like that's obviously not sustainable. We're going to implement something else, figure out.
Yeah,
like,
we just won't have
if
jobs
people aren't-
anymore.
yeah, if
money
people-
won't be real anymore.
Because the whole reason is like AI for these concerns is AI services and stuff. Like, if no one's making money to pay for AI services, then it's a moot point.
Yeah, that's
It could be very
good way of
like
looking
if
at it.
AI does replace us all, like maybe we'll implement a universal basic income and we can all chill and let AI do our job. That's very wishful thinking.
I know this is like this is such a stupid and like surface level observation, but like I'm gonna say it anyway. We do all of this shit. We work jobs and we make money so that we can pay bills. It's all just a universe we have created for ourselves.
Yeah.
We could agree to just be like, let's just stop doing this, and the world would keep spinning. And like, sure, there would be wars and bad stuff would happen probably.
Yeah.
But like, just because we're not all slaves for the wage doesn't mean that like we can't still have like a military. Like, we already have all the fucking shit.
Yeah.
We've got all the fucking shit we'll ever need for like 10 lifetimes.
Yeah. No, humans, it's so we're so ingrained in our ways of thinking and being, where it's that we truly can't imagine a different model for living.
It's
until it's
fear-based.
forced upon. It's fear-based entirely. And it's like the same when the Industrial Revolution happened. It's like everyone was like,
People
this
were like,
is
the world's
great.
ending.
Well, yeah, some people said the world's ending, but like on the other end of it, it's like, this is great. We worked so hard as a society up until now to get to the point where we're industrialized, and people of the future, they're going to work like 5-hour work weeks and everyone's going to be chilling. They're going to have all the luxuries. Cut to now, and people are working more than ever on things we don't really need to be doing.
Yeah. People in the Industrial Revolution did also think, oh no, machines are here to replace humans. And
Yeah.
look at us now.
Exactly.
We're working longer weeks for less pay than we ever
All
have.
machines do is create more work for for humans. And
Who's going to fix the machines when they break?
Yeah.
Or who's going to like reprogram the AI when it accidentally like bombs North Korea? Like,
And we're so like, people love sharing like the Boston Dynamics robot videos, like robots are going to be it's like fucking
we've
no,
been
they're
watching
not.
the same
Yeah.
Boston Dynamics videos since we were in high school in like 2014.
I
Like,
remember even as far back as elementary school. I remember my 5th grade teacher showing me one of the super early ones of like a dog that could barely fucking walk.
yeah, they're like, oh, look,
know?
I can do a
Look.
backflip now.
Yeah.
Who is this for?
Yeah.
Well, am I going to get a robot dog to like grocery shop for me or drive me to work? No, it doesn't. It has nothing.
I would love a video of one of those robots going hand-to-hand combat with an actual person. I would kick the shit out of one of those things, dude. I would love to destroy a Boston Dynamics.
You know those videos of like the delivery robots in like LA and New York where people just deliberately fuck with them and they cannot program themselves to like figure out the scenario? Like, you can use them to block each other. You can just stand in front of one and it can't figure out how to get around you. Like, that's not more efficient than a human delivery, so therefore I can't see how it could be cheaper.
Yeah. Well, it's just not paying for labor.
Yeah, you save on the labor a little bit, but then you have to put that much more into development or even just
maintenance.
if you're not at that level, you have to put more into buying the new machine or accepting the software upgrade and having more IT. Like, if you're losing efficiency, there's no way you're saving money in the long run.
Yeah. It's like we're doing what the Jetsons did, where it's like, 20 years from now, there's going to be flying cars. 20 years from now, there's going to be AI robots that are doing everyone's jobs and we're going to be servants. No one wants that. It's not going to happen.
80% of us are going to be doing the same shit that we're doing right now,
Exactly.
and the other 20% are going to be fucking dead.
And we're going to be complaining about the same shit that we were,
Yeah. But that's part of the human experience.
Exactly, it is. It'd be nice if we could get out of this mindset as a human race.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be nice if we
actually-
could just say,
But we can't.
Land is land. People all need land. Everyone needs a place to live. That should just be a human universal truth.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you put value of any kind on land, then you have escalations and issues and stuff like that. And also, as soon as you have people or a person trying to claim that something is rightfully theirs, you have a problem. And like, monetizing it doesn't solve that problem. People are always going to feel entitled to some shit no matter what.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just eliminating a problem. We're just getting one of the problems checked off the list, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll worry about the human stuff because we're not worrying about the economic, the fact that the entire world economy is just tied together now. If there's a collapse in the UK or if there's a collapse in China, it's going to affect us for like years to come. Like, no.
We'll be chilling, dude. And we live in America. America's the best.
Yeah, we're number one, baby.
Come on, it's America.
Number one.
We can do it. Is that a good Joe Biden? Come on, it's America.
Come on.
I love when he
Come on, man.
I love when he whispers.
Did you watch any of the Colin Jost White House Correspondents' Dinner
No.
speech? I didn't know what was happening.
I didn't realize what was happening.
There were moments.
Or that Jost did it.
Yeah, it was great. I watched it last night with Kels, and there were so many times when he would say a joke and the room would just not respond, and he would like smile. He was thriving.
That's the only way you can handle those.
In
fucking
misery.
Dildos in those correspondence dinners never laugh at anything. Like
He said Lara Trump was there, and he said Lara Trump just re-recorded I forget who was it? God damn it.
As a country artist, we're gonna
Yeah.
say Willie Nelson.
No, not I was gonna say Willie Nelson, but it's not.
Waylon
Willie Nelson.
Jennings. Who is Lara Trump?
She's like Eric or Don Jr.'s wife.
And she's a musician.
No, she's a politician.
Yeah.
They just tried to. I think they actually did make her chair of the RNC.
Dope.
So that's fun.
Colbert absolutely annihilates, Lord. Good job, Colbert. You got
Yeah,
another
you
one.
got another one,
You got
baby.
another one, Colbert.
I guess we'll just go to her Apple Music page. But she covered some. Oh, I Won't Back Down. That's the one.
Tom Petty.
Yep. Joe said,
Oh my God.
upon hearing this, Tom Petty died a second time. And
That's
some of the room was like,
truly-
ooh.
Truly bad auto-tune. Oh, man.
Yeah, but the room kind of responded in a mixed way, and he just smiled and looked. And then at the very end of his speech, you know, he was saying, journalists are important. We need everyone in this room. And then he was like, I appreciate all of you. And then he paused and he said, almost all of you for being here. I don't know any other movies. I've seen the Tarantino films, and that's pretty much it.
Those are good ones to see.
He's my favorite director. Well, shit. Guy Ritchie's great, since we mentioned him.
Yeah, dude.
Guy Ritchie's great, too.
Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Dude, Lock, Stock is...
I think Lock, Stock's that's usually what I say is my favorite movie if someone asks me. Say Lock, Stock.
I usually say Snatch.
Yeah. Snatch is probably those are probably 1 and 2 for me, honestly.
Snatch is my favorite. No, it's Lock, Stock,
It's Lock,
actually.
Lock, Stock is such a great story.
It's
It's
crazy.
so well written.
Snatch also, the way that it's sequenced and put together is masterful.
I've made so many people watch Lock, Stock. Like whenever we're like a movie night or something, we're unsure what to watch. I'm like, you guys seen Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels? And so every single time I show it to anyone, they're like, fuck, that was a really good recommendation. I really enjoyed that.
I've done the same thing with Snatch. Like, I've made a bunch of people watch Snatch over the years, and they usually come away from that movie feeling pretty confused. They're like, I'm not entirely sure what just
That
happened.
one's hard to follow.
Yeah.
I tell people, I'm like, this isn't one you can fucking talk through, all right?
If you miss like one line of dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not going to know what happens like 45 minutes later.
Julia, I love her. She's just very smart. She cannot follow a movie or a TV show plot to save her life. And I know that about her. And so, like, I've been a total dick sometimes where we'll, like, be looking at movies and there's one I've seen that she wants to watch. I'm like, it's really complicated. I'm like, you would really have to pay attention for this one. And I've probably made her watch Snatch like 5 times, 6 times easily.
It probably takes about that many times to really understand it, honestly. Or maybe not to understand the overall plot, but to really pick up on every subtle nuance that's in the film. It takes multiple watches. That's why I think it's my favorite movie, is because every time I watch it, especially if you give it some time in between watches, you can be like, I completely forgot about that little subplot or like that dialogue exchange that ties into like the final scene of the film.
Yeah.
Also, just like Jason Statham when he wasn't insufferable.
Dude,
He was
Statham
so
is the
fucking
man.
cool. I think he's pretty insufferable now.
I
but
still get excited for a Statham movie. I haven't seen The Beekeeper.
it's
his
just
newest
like I'm
one.
never gonna give a fuck about Fast and Furious ever.
I haven't seen any. I've seen the first Fast and Furious, but none since then.
I saw Furious 7, but no other.
Weird one
Fast
to
and
just
Furious.
going on.
I know. I had
Number
no idea what was happening, and then
Yeah.
the last scene of it, or maybe not even the last scene, but the climax, is so bad. It's like one of the worst pieces of cinema I've ever watched in my life.
7.
They're
If
just
you-
they're on a runway for like 15 minutes, just going like 120 miles an hour.
Do they only make Fast and Furious movies for people in China to watch? That's where they make like $1 billion in China for every single movie.
That's so
The Chinese love Fast and Furious movies.
I wonder why.
So well known. They just love American action.
But that's not even good American action.
It is for the Chinese.
I guess, yeah, because it's not too like complex. It's just like a lot of explosions and fast motion and loud noises, muscles.
Easy to dub over.
Yeah. Very easy to dub over. The translation for like
You
is
can't-
just like
Asian. You can't even understand anything Vin Diesel's saying anyways. Vin
It's
Diesel
not
as
funny.
the minimum requirement for an actor is to be able to speak, and Vin Diesel can't even do that. It's so crazy that he became a star. Can't understand a single word that comes out of his
yeah,
mouth.
he's pretty bad.
I do love the Chronicles of Riddick series though.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in the Chronicles
Yeah.
of Riddick. I also forgot about The Pacifier. That movie's horrible.
Oh, I saw that one in theaters as a young kid. I
As
liked
a
that in
little
theaters. As
boy?
a little boy. It's a sweet boy. If you like the Guy Ritchie movies though, have you seen Layer Cake? Dude, watch Layer Cake.
Never heard of it.
And then thank me later.
Okay.
I love Layer Cake.
Layer Cake.
It's with Daniel Craig and a bunch of other.
Love Daniel Craig.
Love Daniel Craig. This was actually the movie that convinced producers that he should be Bond.
Interesting.
He's not very Bond-esque at all. He's kind of like a fool in it a little bit. Makes a lot of mistakes.
Okay.
Still a cool suave guy, but not Bond.
I mean,
suave.
Bond never makes a mistake.
Exactly.
Ever.
Exactly. Oh, back to Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. The main dude in that is who they believe Ian Fleming based James Bond off of.
Oh, really?
He was kind of an amalgamation, James Bond, of a lot, because Ian Fleming was in like the British Secret Service and like was on the periphery of a bunch of spy missions. So I think James Bond was an amalgamation of a bunch of different
Some
characters, but they
different-
believe that this dude was the primary inspiration for Bond.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Does he like womanize throughout the whole entire film?
He doesn't really have an opportunity to.
Damn it.
Because he's on a boat the whole time, pretty much.
Oh yeah,
But
women hate
at
boats.
the end, he gets to the girl, and it's insinuated that they fuck passionately.
Before marriage?
I like to think so. It's actually not very insinuated that they fuck, but I imagine
Okay.
it is. It's Henry Cavill who plays
I
him, too.
insinuated that they fuck.
I said, I looked over at Julia. I said, they definitely fuck, right? They're fucking. It's Henry Cavill who
Wait
plays the
till
main dude.
Jesus hears about this.
Yeah.
He's gonna be pissed.
I'm telling you on Jesus, Henry Cavill. He did this. I love Henry Cavill though. He's the man.
Nice. I guess I need to watch that film then.
Have you seen Man from Uncle? Another Guy Ritchie movie. Oh, dude, watch Man from Uncle. That one's so good.
I think I've only seen Lock, Stock, and then Snatch, and then whatever one of his more recent films was.
Did you see The Wrath of Man or The Gentleman? Those were some recent
The
ones.
Gentleman.
Gentleman's
I've
good.
also seen Sherlock Holmes.
There's a Gentleman TV series that they did on Netflix.
I forgot. I always forget he did that Sherlock Holmes film. It's so unlike.
I love those Sherlock
They're
movies.
great.
They're so
They're
good.
just the production style and like the soundtrack and everything.
Yeah,
feels so
it's
different to me.
because it's you can. They like commissioned Guy Ritchie for that
yeah,
kind of
totally.
It's still very much Ritchie's style, but like just
More
kind of inserting
accessible.
him into a more mainstream thing. Because he also did King Arthur, the
I think
more
I've
recent
seen-
King Arthur movie with Charlie Hunnam, and that one was good. But yeah, it's
Fountain
not
of
super
Youth.
Ritchie-esque because But yeah, there's Man from Uncle. That movie is so good.
Aladdin 2.
I didn't realize he did Aladdin too. I'm gonna have to watch Aladdin.
Oh, he did Aladdin and Aladdin 2. That Aladdin is a great film movie. I don't think
I haven't
can you
seen
call it
Aladdin.
a film if it wasn't filmed?
Film. Oh, you mean the original?
Yeah,
Anima-
like the animated.
Yeah, that's so good. One of the best. Robin Williams in that.
Robin Williams.
So good.
Who else?
Who
There's
voiced?
someone else famous in that. That was back when like, well, I
Man,
guess
this-
it's still kind of the case, but like Disney films back in the day, like every single A-list celebrity was just their cast for every single
for
movie.
sure. Yeah, which is like because that was legit high art. Those
Yeah.
movies.
Oh, 100%.
Especially
Gilbert
for back then.
Gottfried.
Gilbert Gottfried. That's right.
That's I think
How
what
could
I
I
was
forget
thinking
his
of.
voice in there? Yeah, there's always a bunch of rando, just like probably big wigs in the voice acting community, but people you've never heard of, and then actual.
You got to
big
have one or
wigs.
two stars to make it all
Uh-huh.
sellable.
Yeah, but now like any animated movie they do, it's all huge names.
Yeah.
It's like there was just a trailer for one that I saw. I don't even remember who was in it, but it was every single one of them A-lister.
Was it the new John Krasinski film or movie?
Oh, is that the one with Ryan Reynolds?
It's called If, I
If,
believe.
yeah.
It's got dude,
I'm fucking
it's got
so
Ryan Reynolds
sick of
in it.
Ryan Reynolds.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
he's kind of a one-trick pony. He does like the
As
sarcastic.
far as his acting, you mean?
Yeah,
That's fair.
and he does it amazingly well, and people love it. But it's just getting, I think the juice is squeezed out from it.
Steve Carell, Phoebe Waller-Bridge,
Jon Stewart.
Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Maya Rudolph, Jon Stewart, Sam Rockwell, Sebastian Maniscalco. I mean, Bobby Moynihan, dude.
I love seeing Bobby
Awkwafina?
Moynihan in something.
Why does Awkwafina get to do all this cool shit?
Yeah, I
Is
don't know.
Isn't Awkwafina like a rapper?
I think
Or is she,
She
like an
did-
actress primarily?
she maybe started off as a musician. This could be. I don't want to diss Aquafina, but it very much seemed like a career calculated to like become a star. you know?
Sure.
She
Yeah,
wasn't.
no, I'm
she
not-
wasn't in it for the music.
I'm not trying to like diss her. It's more like genuine confusion. Like
Yeah, she just got
as
everywhere.
a voice actor, like Awkwafina, and then like Bobby Moynihan. Like Bobby Moynihan's one of the best voice actors of all fucking time. And I don't know why Jon Stewart's in this really either. It's kind
You
of
could
weird.
be a voice actor.
Me?
Yeah, got a good voice.
Guess I should move to Hollywood, baby.
Hollywood here.
Quit my
Julian
job.
comes.
It's fucking
I'll tag along.
move into the fucking van I have that
Yeah.
I need to get still.
I want a van. Wait, do you have a van?
No,
Oh,
I
you
need to
buy
get a
one.
van.
I
Yeah.
need to get a van.
There's this van for sale on the road into town. They want like almost $10,000 for it, but it's a nice van, and it says it has a new engine. So
What kind of van?
it's like a Ford, like
Like a
Econoline
cargo
van.
van?
Yeah,
And we could tour in the van.
yeah. That's
love a
literally
van.
what my first thought was like that'd be great for touring. But
Mm.
first, you need to have listeners and people that
I
want to
know.
see you play shows.
I ain't touring to go to bar shows. Did you ever like do a tour in any of your earlier bands, high school bands? Savage, we did like 2 like mini tours. They were fun, good times. They were just like in Colorado or slightly outside of Colorado.
yeah,
And
we can't even get into Denver, man.
I know,
We're not. We're stuck
just
in
not
Fort Collins
getting
forever.
Shows. There's still so much like of the old head mentality around like playing shows is the only thing you can do as a band. And yeah, playing shows is cool. It's fun to play shows as a band. But it's like if you're just playing shows for no one and doing a lot of it, especially nowadays, is that moving the needle at all? When we're so oversaturated with shows and entertainment anyways, like it's such a competitive
I
market.
mean, if you're not making money while you're doing it, then there's pretty much no point.
Yeah. And if you're doing shows for the love of playing shows, hell yeah. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I guess, playing one-off shows is totally different. Like, getting paid is pretty optional most of the time. Like, it's like, oh, if we get paid, that's cool.
That's cool.
We're just there to play a show. If you're on, like, tour, though, and you're just, like, doing the same tour every year and losing money every time, or and even just ending at 0 every time, then it's probably just gumming up the works a little bit more for like maybe some local bands.
Yeah.
I will say most of the time when touring bands come through, they always want to hook up local bands. Like they want openers to play for them. They want like locals at the show and stuff like that. So I do think it helps in certain ways. It just doesn't help clear out the just like litany of music that's online all the time.
Right. Well, and yeah, I'm just, I don't really have an opinion on like playing shows, but I just hear takes all the time from like older guys in the music industry where it's like you got to get out there and play shows, and like that's the only way to do it. It's like no. Nowadays
no. It's not like if you I think people would definitely say that like back in the day, like if you want to break through, if you want to get famous, you got to play shows. Now, if you want to get famous, you have to have like 20 seconds of catchy ass shit that can trend on the internet.
Yeah.
Playing shows, people do not want to leave their house. Like you've got all the entertainment you could ever need at your fingertips. Why the fuck would you go to like a dive bar?
House. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I rarely go to concerts anymore.
I go to concerts if I really, really want to see the band.
Yeah.
If it's like I really want to see them, if I really, really want to see them, that's when you have to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Anyways.
Especially just like, and this is justified. Like, I'm not going to try to say that like, I don't want to pay high ticket prices because blah, blah, blah. Like artists definitely get a cut of that money. That's how most artists make their living is from ticket sales. But also the reason why most tickets are so expensive now is because of, like processing fees, transaction fees, handling fees, all that bullshit that the ticket
it's such a racket.
Distribution company slaps on, and then they pocket that money. So it's like when you go to a show, if you really want to help the band rather than mostly just helping the ticket distributor,
buy merch.
You got to buy the merchandise. So then you're just spending even more money. Then you have to hold merchandise for the entire show. Whose idea was that? If you buy merchandise at a
part of the show and wait in the merch line for an hour.
Too. Yeah.
It's wild. You look at ticket prices nowadays and, like you're expecting the minimum cost to be like $130 for like a decent show. And that's like if you get in early and have GA seats for a lot of these bigger shows. I've seen some good concerts. I don't know if I've ever valued a concert experience above $200.
The best shows that I've ever seen in my life were the shows where the ticket was
like $20.
25.
Yeah, exactly. Some theater show.
Most shows that I try to go to these days, it's like the ticket's $45. That seems to be like the average price for like
that's about what
mid-range act at a mid-size venue. Like that Haken show that I saw earlier this year. Those tickets were $45 a piece. They played for like 3.5 hours, and it was like probably the best show I've ever seen in my life. I walked away from it just thinking, holy fuck. Whereas, I've spent $75 on fucking My Morning Jacket tickets at Red Rocks. They're one of the best live bands in the world. But like, it's not enjoyable when the venue is kind of shitty and when the people around you are kind of shitty. Yeah.
I'm just like freaking out about the people around me the whole time too. Like, I don't like big crowds in general, and especially like in a concert setting, I'm just always ready for not that I feel confrontational. I'm just always expecting
you're ready for someone to pop
happen.
Off.
Yeah, and I've had so many dickhead comments about my height and stuff. Like, I'm at the very back of the venue. Like, I have to stand somewhere. I'm a tall person. I want to enjoy the show as well. And so I'm always just bracing myself for confrontation.
I've honestly been that
We've had
dick
this conversation
where
before.
like it's just because like there are tall dicks out there sometimes. Like there's been times when I'm in like the third row and a dude that's like 6'5" is in like the second row and he's directly in front of me. He's not even trying to make sure I can see.
Yeah.
I've had tall people get in front of me and then turn around and be like, is this good? Like, can you see everything still? And then you just be like, yeah, man, we're great. Like, that's all you need to fucking do.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the end of my rant.
No, you're good. I've done that too, and people are still just like, no, we can't see anything. I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to stand here.
Yeah, fuck
and
me.
You're with a group of people, and they're like, we want to go up front. I'm like, I don't want to do that, but fine, I'll fucking come with you, and I'll just, like, accept getting, like,
Julia
shitty
probably
comments.
Needs to be up front.
Yeah. Yeah. I one of the last shows I went to, I forget who I was seeing, but it was at Mission Ballroom, and another tall guy approached me in the audience. He's like, "Let's stand together, and we'll just be two tall dudes." They're like
If there's
people
two
just
of you,
have to
people
accept
aren't
we're
gonna
here.
fuck
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. But anyways, concerts. I don't know. I don't have anything left to
Tickets
say.
cheap.
I think at the end of the day, I'm
money.
just salty we're not getting fucking shows. And so many shitty bands are.
I mean, we haven't.
We don't try
tried
that
hard. That's
And we just
main
hit
thing.
our we really don't try that hard. And we just hit our 1 year.
we hit our 1 year
anniversary.
anniversary.
So
I
it's
saw
not
that
like
on
we've even
Instagram.
been doing it that long in this band. But I think you and I both have kind of a chip on our shoulders
100%.
about just because you and I have both been in bands since high school.
We've
10 years.
both been in bands for over a decade
Yeah.
now. I mean, Sav Cab was what, 2013?
I think we found it in 2013.
Yeah, Blue Taboo. I mean, I wasn't in Blue Taboo when it started, but I joined Blue Taboo in 2014, so that's 10 years.
And I haven't been in a band that whole time. Obviously,
I've been in a band that
you've
whole
been
time.
you've been in many bands that whole time. So if anyone, so
They haven't been active necessarily.
Yeah, but
they
you've
haven't been dead
involved
either.
in bands.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's a couple salty old heads in the scene.
It's hard to kind of not really have a chip on your shoulder when it seems like you can't really keep up with the ever-changing scene and kind of culture around the scene. It's nobody's fault. Like I'm not salty towards people or like salty towards even really I'm salty towards a couple establishments. Most of them don't even exist anymore. So it's kind of like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm salty are all self-inflicted reasons. Like, to be taken seriously now, you have to be putting something out on streaming services pretty regularly, which we've done. We're good at that. You have to be making content all the fucking time. You have to be checking in with your following all the fucking time. You have to have a certain amount of followers on social media to even get considered to play at certain venues, which is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, how many of my friends that genuinely like my music that don't follow us on social media is probably like significantly more than the people that do like us, that do follow us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we have a vast following that doesn't even know that we have a fucking Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's just such an irrelevant metric. And just that combined with the fact that, when we started being in bands together, if you weren't playing like a certain type of music, you just couldn't get into the scene. And then that type of music changed, but the people running the scene didn't really change. And then the people running the scene changed pretty much entirely during COVID or around COVID. And so now it's like, not only do you not know what type of music you need to be playing in order to fit in with the scene, you don't even know the people that run the venues anymore. And when you send an email, it's like 3 months before you hear back from anybody.
If you hear back at all, it's
Yeah.
most of the time just into the void.
Yeah.
And I work at music venues in Fort Collins, and I fucking don't know how it works. Like, I'm so detached. I mean, I'm on the audio side. I don't do any of the booking or anything, but
you should still have a surface level understanding of like how people can get booked at places. Yeah, it's confusing. There's a lot of really, really good bands in town right now. Like, I mean, Ulster Cowboy, probably like maybe my favorite local band of all time.
Yeah.
And then like Costanza, they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, they're so good. Robert Shredford, they're fucking great. Crooked Rugs, like, we're lucky to have Crooked Rugs in this town. Even like Slow Caves and shit, when they do stuff, it's like always fantastic. It's like, why do those bands have to play the less than venues? Why are the only venues that take them serious? Like, why aren't those bands playing fucking Washington's every month or every other month? That's what that venue's there for.
Yeah.
It's not there for...
No, it's there to entertain the, upper middle class,
Evidently
middle-aged
so,
people
yeah.
who,
I've been to Washington's once. The show itself was really good, but I was just like, everyone in this room right now literally has gray hair except for me.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's fine if you're an old person that wants to go see a show, fine. Just give us one night a week that we can have for great local bands.
Cool shows.
Yeah.
I work at Washington's. I love Washington's, but yeah, that's what it is. it's upper echelon venue.
Mm-hmm. And kind of same with the Armory too. Like,
Oh yeah, the Armory for sure.
they saved the Armory for a lot of bigger, or not even bigger, just more touring acts or like the bigger local acts. But that venue could be full like every night if they just open the door to some of the more alternative music styles that are in town.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Anything else to say about the state of the music industry, the local scene, or films, or World War II?
So, Maynard James Keenan, the lead singer of Tool and Pussifer and A Perfect Circle, he's doing this tour right now with Pussifer and A Perfect Circle and Primus for his 60th birthday. It's called the Sasanta Tour.
Yeah, I've seen this.
This is really nothing, but the other night they were playing Red Rocks and there was a malfunction and a bunch of the cabs on the stage went out. And so Les Claypool, I forget the drummer from Primus, I forget his name, but he's fucking fantastic.
Oh, I know this.
Let's give him his due.
Give him a goog.
Tim Alexander. Yeah, I was gonna put Tim on my list of favorite drummers, but I didn't ultimately because I just feel like I don't have enough Primus knowledge. But he's a fantastic drummer. They were just like vamping and fucking around while they were waiting for stuff to come back, and they were locked. Like they were jamming like odd time signature stuff like perfectly.
Wait,
like
you were at the show?
No, I was watching it on YouTube. I should have said that. I wish I was at the show. The tickets were literally $210 before fees.
Our earlier discussion.
Well, yeah, it's Maynard James Keenan. Like you're not going to see any of his bands for less than like $200.
Yeah, dude.
Tool tickets are like
He's got
$400.
a vineyard to run.
He's got the vineyard.
Needs some
Also, they were out of commission for like 10 years. Like I think this is well, Pussifer did a tour last year, but other than that, it's like their first tour in like 14 years or since 2014. Whatever. But they're vamping. Like Les Claypool just started playing this riff in like 8. I think it was 9/8 plus like 5/4. And Tim Alexander just started playing like immediately, and they were like doing it. It was like fucking crazy that they were that locked in. But then the drummer for Pussifer started playing the song that we always play in practice when we're like fucking around in between songs.
Sunday?
Yeah.
No way.
He started playing the groove from Sunday, and I was just
over
like,
what they were playing?
No,
Or
like
just
they
randomly?
finished vamping, and then like literally the second they stopped playing, he just went do gotta do.
Here's what I'm bringing to the table, guys.
And then Billy Howardell started going and it was just like, dude, I can't believe that's like a universal vamping song.
That's so funny. I don't think it is. I think only really talented dudes are on that.
It's a very hard song to play. Yeah.
Most people would go to, I don't know, a Cape Cod Kwasa Kwasa.
Okay, one other thing. I know you're not the biggest local natives guy.
I'm not a local natives guy.
Sure.
I'm just not as big a head as you are.
Yeah, no one is. I'm their number one.
You are maybe the number one local natives fan.
Shit.
Definitely, you're definitely the number one local natives fan in the greater Northern Colorado region.
Clip this and let's tag local natives because I need some tickets to their next show.
Give us the tickies and come on the pod, please.
If you actually do clip this, I met local natives in like 2014. Maybe it was before that. They were opening for the National.
Mm-hmm.
And they did this contest on Instagram a few years later for Sunlit Youth tickets at Red Rocks. And the question, like the winner, the person who guesses or correctly knows the answer first essentially wins the tickets. And they asked they posted a picture and they're like, what song are we playing in this photo or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And I guessed it right. I knew the answer. I knew the fucking answer.
How'd you know the answer?
Because I was at the show.
And you just remembered
what
they looked like at that
up
moment
till that
they were playing
point.
the song?
Up to that point, it was like literally like the best show I'd ever been to in my life. This is a spoiler. This is a spoiler alert. Don't read that. But anyway, I guessed the answer correctly, and then they hit me up, and they're like, "Do you want some tickets to this show?" And I was like, "Yes, of course, thank you." And then I took Robert to that show. This is way too long to clip now. But then I messaged him back on Instagram and was like, yeah, thanks. Like, I actually met you guys a few years ago. Like, here's a picture. And I sent a picture of me and my dad with them at their last Red Rock show. And they were like, he responded and he was like, oh, that's awesome, dude. Like, fuck yeah. And then that was that pretty much. That's my story.
saw, yeah, you have a DM with them in there.
Oh, did I scroll past it?
Yeah, you scrolled past it. I think it was further. Yeah, there it is. They left you on red.
Oh, no.
That was just responding to a story, eh?
It wasn't from their account. It was from Taylor Rice's like personal account. So the long story short, Local Natives, you've given me free tickets before. I know you guys. I've been to literally every single show you've done in Colorado minus like 2. Come, give me tickets to your show. That's all I've got. So yeah, what I was going to say originally, one of their founding members, Kelsey Ayer, he just left Local Natives. Like, he just posted a message on Instagram saying he's going to be leaving. They're like done. They're done, but he's done with them going forward. And I just think that's really fucking sad. He was like one of their founding members. From what I understand, like, he wrote like most of their second album or was largely involved in the creative process just overall for like the entire time they were a band. So I think it's going to be really fucking sad. Here's that fucking shit.
It's happened. 2017 this was, eh?
Free pair of tickets to our show at Red Rocks tomorrow if you guess what song the National are sound checking. That's pretty good.
You guessed. Wait, what, the National were sound checking?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was what. I thought it was a picture of what they were playing at the show you had seen before.
That's what I originally
How'd you
said.
guess what the National were sound checking?
I'm pretty sure.
Do you know
I
that?
guessed Pink Rabbits because Aaron Desner's playing piano.
I was going to say
then
that's kind of a giveaway.
I can't even remember. Pink Rabbits, yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
And then, yeah, I sent this picture. This is me and my dad. Look at me.
Nice. You guys, you and your dad look like you should be members of Local Natives in that photo.
Right? And at that show, we actually sat by their parents.
Oh,
like,
that's
we
cool.
sat by Taylor Rice's and Matthew Fraser's moms. And that's why they like came back. Like, after their set, they came back to hang out with their moms. And then because we had been talking to their moms previously, they were just like, hey, you guys want to get a photo? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, fuck yeah. Because they're literally like my favorite band at that point. And they're still in my top 5. Yeah, 20 years of playing with Local Natives, I've decided to leave. And then he doesn't really say why. But he does say he would kiss them if he was more sexually attracted to them. Which I think is a pretty brave statement.
I don't think the Eagles can say that. You have a lot to learn, Eagles. Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy when someone leaves a band.
So, kind of wondering what the future is for those guys, because it's really hard to imagine that they can do a bunch of their older material without Kelsey. He's like co-frontman, essentially.
Let's close out on this. Who is the coolest or like biggest musician you've ever met in person?
Tom York.
You met Tom York?
Yeah, it wasn't like how you'd think, though. Like, he was just doing a meet and greet after one of his shows.
Okay, so you just said what's up.
And we waited in line for like an hour and a half. Okay, there's a whole theory behind this. We waited in line for like an hour. We didn't bring anything for him to sign because we didn't really know there was going to be a meet and greet. We just heard like after the show was over, like, oh, he's going to be out back like signing shit in like an hour. And Nigel Godrich was fucking there too, because actually I don't know why Nigel Godrich was there. But it was during the Anima shows when he had this visual artist, Tariq Bari, I think, or something like that. But yeah, so after that show, we just waited in a parking lot for like an hour. And then he actually came out of his tour bus and everyone was like, holy shit, like this is actually happening. And then he proceeded to sign autographs for like every single person in the line. That's cool. And he took like a second with everybody. Like it was kind of rushed, but it wasn't like, all right, you got your autograph, now fuck off. Like my dad was holding one of the like local Denver magazines, and there was an advertisement for a dispensary that just said, "We sell weed." And then when my dad gave Tom York the ticket to sign, he saw that ad and he was like, "We sell weed." And then he like circled it with his gold Sharpie and then like drew an arrow pointing to it. So my dad has like the magazine still. And he signed all of our tickets. My tickets upstairs in the kitchen. And then like at 3 a.m. that same night, Tom York posted a tweet that was just a gif of Paddington the bear going down a slide, and the caption was just "wee." So my mom is like, "You inspired that tweet."
Wee. That's so funny. That's cool.
Super
I didn't know
random.
you actually met him.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be amazing. That'd
peak living experience. I shook his hand, and I basically was. I mean, because there you can't say anything that he hasn't already heard. I was just like, "Dude, thank you so much for like literally everything you've done." And he was just like, "Yeah, man, like it's not that big of a deal. Like, like just doing what I do." I completely forget what my dad was trying to small talk with him, because my dad's loved Tom York for like longer than he hasn't,
And your dad's of the age where like that band was
crucial.
Yeah, crucial. Voice of a generation.
Yeah. So my dad was trying to small talk with him a little bit, and at one point was kind of just like, I've been playing your music like on my radio stations and stuff for like 25 years. And Tom York was just like, "Oh, like you are in radio? Like that's cool. Like thanks for being like a soldier, brother." You know what I mean? So it was like a very humbling experience, because it's like this dude's famous as fuck, and he also hates doing things like this, but he's doing it like for his fans.
I'd be very intimidated to talk to Tom York for sure.
It feels like you don't deserve to, kind of.
I just saw a clip of him motherfucking some security guards during a Smile show because someone passed out and he had to stop the show so they could get help. And he was like, "Do your fucking job." It's like, that's literally your fucking job.
Whoa.
Just screaming at security.
Nice.
That was a little harsh, because I'm like,
that's what he does, though.
Yeah, I know.
It is their job.
It is their job, but also like, whatever. It just doesn't read well for.
I mean, he didn't kick a camera woman in the face.
Yeah, true.
So.
That was a cool move.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess I haven't met too many like famous
that.
people. Mostly just idol figures. Like I've been lucky enough to meet like Riley Breckenridge, who's the drummer of Thrice.
Yeah.
I met Ian Miller, who's like the bassist of Calvin Walled City. At the same time, they were in a band together, and me and Will went to Boston to see him play a show. And we literally told them like, "Yo, we flew 1,700 miles for this," and they were just like. They were like, "Wait, like really? Like, thank you so much." Like
That's
they
cool.
were like dumbfounded. They're like, "Who the fuck would do that?"
That's
cool. And then I met Moby when I was like 6, which was pretty much the last time I liked Moby. So.
Yeah, I'll go back to some Moby every once in a while.
Oh, every now and then some Moby hits pretty hard for sure. And then
Jacob Dylan recently.
Ooh,
That was cool.
That's a cool one.
Yeah.
I met Jordan Klepper from The Daily Show.
Oh, really?
At a Jack White show one time.
That guy. Let's talk about motherfucking people.
Dude, seriously, he's great.
He's so good at doing that.
He's so great.
Yeah. He's recognizable for the hair.
The hair, it was before he had a beard, but I was at the Blunderbuss show at Red Rocks with my dad, and I just like happened to turn around. I was just trying to, see who was behind me, and literally Jordan Klepper was behind me.
Yeah.
And I like poked my dad, and I'm like, "That's the dude from The Daily Show." Like, he was like a new correspondent at that time. Jon Stewart was still hosting, and my dad was just like, "I don't think so. Like, I don't really recognize that dude." And then I was like, "Okay, word." And then like 5 minutes later, I just turned around and I was like, "Are you Jordan Klepper?" And he was like, "Yeah, man." And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And he was like, "Jack White, bro."
That's funny.
So random.
Dude, how good has it been to have Jon Stewart back once a week?
It's been pretty amazing.
That's the only way I get news.
It's crazy how much it feels exactly like it did. Like I thought there would be a kind of an aura of like trying to recreate the past, or like recapture like the lightning in a
Yeah,
bottle.
no, they're just letting him do. It's very different.
Yeah,
like
they're letting
a
him do
different
whatever he
style,
wants.
but yeah, because of that, it feels the same way because he's just doing him.
I'm not a big fan of how they are like pairing hosts up sometimes. Like last week, it was like Jordan Klepper and Ronnie Chang.
I haven't been actually watching. I've just been watching the Jon Stewart clips on
Oh.
Instagram. They'll like just clip his segments.
I'm still kind of ahead when it comes to the Daily Show. I
Yeah,
watch it
I know
like
you
every day.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I know. It just doesn't make sense. But
Do you have cable here? How do you watch it? Every
No,
day? Or
I
do you
watch
just
it on
stream
YouTube.
Okay.
they post like every clip, or they post like every segment of the show as clips on YouTube. So it's like you can just watch the clip. You can watch the entire monologue or the entire field piece or the entire second segment, or like they post the extended interviews on YouTube. So the interviews are actually longer than what you get on the
I've
show.
seen some of those, yeah.
And then they post like the after the cuts, the between the cuts, and all that stuff. So you can watch all that shit and not have to watch commercials. It's like way better than having TV.
Oh, yeah. YouTube is the shit.
YouTube's amazing.
On that note, I got to rock a piss.
Okay.
We're about to rehearse, so let's wrap it up.
Sure.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Love you. Goodbye.
I'm gay.